In the dusty, sun-beaten streets of a small, forgotten town, a young boy named Leo lived a life most of us only read about in stories. Orphaned and penniless, his world was a daily struggle for survival. His home was a makeshift shelter of cardboard and tin, and his meals were often just the scraps of kindness from strangers. But amidst this harsh reality, Leo had a hunger that food couldn't satisfy, a desperate yearning for knowledge. Every morning, he would linger near the local schoolhouse, his bare feet tracing patterns in the dirt. He couldn't afford tuition, a uniform, or even a single pencil. But he could listen. Through the open windows, he absorbed the melodies of multiplication tables and the cadence of poetry. The school was his sanctuary, a world away from the grit and grime of his own. His unofficial teacher was a man named Mr. Harrison, a kind, middle-aged man with weary eyes but a warm smile. Mr. Harrison was the first to notice the silent, watchful boy. He never shooed Leo away. Instead, he'd often leave the windows open a little wider, or speak a little louder, hoping the lessons would reach the eager ears outside. One rainy afternoon, as the final bell rang, Mr. Harrison emerged from the school, struggling under the weight of a towering stack of books and exam papers. The muddy path ahead was treacherous. Just as he was about to lose his balance, a small dirt-streaked hand reached out and took the heaviest books from his grasp. It was Leo. Without a word, Leo clutched the precious cargo to his chest, shielding it from the rain with his own thin shirt. He walked beside Mr. Harrison, his small frame steady and determined, all the way to the teacher's modest home at the edge of town. When they arrived, Mr. Harrison, moved by this simple, selfless act, turned to the boy. "What's your name, son?" he asked gently. "Leo," the boy whispered, his eyes fixed on the ground. "Leo," Mr. Harrison repeated, a smile touching his lips. "You have a good heart. Why aren't you in school?" Leo's silence spoke volumes. Mr. Harrison understood. From that day forward, a silent pact was formed. Every afternoon, Leo would wait for Mr. Harrison and carry his books. In return, Mr. Harrison would spend a few minutes tutoring him, teaching him to read from the very books he carried. He gave Leo old, worn-out textbooks, which became the boy's most treasured possessions. For Leo, carrying those books wasn't a chore, it was a privilege. It was his ticket to a world he was desperate to join. Years turned into decades. The town changed, and so did the lives within it. Mr. Harrison retired from teaching, his hair now silver, his steps slower. He had lived a simple life, pouring his heart into his students, but he had never saved much. One day, a cruel twist of fate struck. A sudden illness left him with staggering medical bills, far beyond his meager pension. He had to sell his home, the very place a small, barefoot boy had once walked to, and moved into a small, sterile room in a state-run assisted living facility. His world, once filled with the vibrant energy of children, became quiet and lonely. His hope began to fade. Meanwhile, in a gleaming city skyscraper miles away, a man stood looking out over the sprawling metropolis. This was Dr. Leo Vance, a renowned surgeon, a pioneer in his field, and the CEO of a major medical foundation dedicated to providing health care to underprivileged communities. His journey had been long and arduous. Fueled by the lessons from those dog-eared books, he had earned a scholarship, worked relentlessly through medical school, and never forgot the dusty streets he came from. One evening, while reviewing applications for his foundation's aid program, a familiar name caught his eye: Alistair Harrison. The application detailed an elderly retired teacher, struggling with medical debt, his hometown matching the one etched forever in Leo's memory. His heart skipped a beat. Could it be? He drove for hours, leaving the city lights behind for the familiar country roads of his past. He found the assisted living facility, his heart pounding in his chest. He walked down a long, quiet hallway until he saw him. Sitting in a wheelchair by the window, looking out at the setting sun, was an older, frailer version of the man who had changed his life. Leo approached slowly. "Mr. Harrison?" he said, his voice thick with emotion. The old man turned, his eyes cloudy and distant. He didn't recognize the well-dressed stranger before him. "I'm sorry, do I know you?" Mr. Harrison asked, his voice weak. Leo knelt down, his eyes level with his old teacher's. "Years ago," he began, "a little boy used to carry your books home for you after school. You taught him how to read. You gave him a chance when no one else would." A flicker of recognition sparked in Mr. Harrison's eyes. He stared at the man, his mind racing back through the years. He saw a small, determined face streaked with dirt, clutching a stack of books. A tear welled up and rolled down his wrinkled cheek. "Leo?" he whispered in disbelief. "Little Leo?" "Yes, Mr. Harrison. It's me," Leo said, his own tears now flowing freely. "It's my turn to carry you." The very next day, Mr. Harrison was moved out of the facility and into a beautiful private care home, with the best doctors tending to him, all paid for by Leo's foundation. But Leo did more than just pay the bills. He visited every week, bringing books not for Mr. Harrison to carry, but for them to read together. They would sit for hours, talking, laughing, and reminiscing. The light returned to Mr. Harrison's eyes, his loneliness replaced by the warmth of a bond forged decades ago over a stack of heavy books and an act of kindness. Leo had become a great surgeon, a man who healed bodies. But in that moment, by repaying a debt of kindness, he healed a soul. And in doing so, he healed a part of himself, the part that never forgot the little boy who just wanted to learn. This story reminds us that no act of kindness, no matter how small, is ever wasted. A helping hand, a shared moment, a book given to a child in need. These are the seeds from which miracles can grow. The world is a circle. What we put out into it, the good we do, has a way of coming back, often when we need it most. So be the Mr. Harrison in someone's life. Be the Leo. You never know whose world you might change forever. Thank you so much for watching. If this story touched your heart, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing to our channel for more inspiring content. We'll see you in the next video.